We aim to unlock the doors of opinion, unveiling the stories that need to be told. Join Omobola Sandra and Sage Babalola on the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning.
Mainland 98.3 FM, your number one radio. Reaching stars, the sound of Lagos.
Good morning and welcome to Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. It's time for us to look through the major trending stories on the front pages of our dailies, and we'll do this up until 8:30. It's going to be a long run. Okay, so we'll do this up until 8:30. We'll take a short break by 8:30, and by 8:40 we're back for Mainland Focus, where you, our dear listener, you get to be a part of the conversation. All right, so I will not be doing this alone. Fuad Sahid will be joining in via the phone line to give analysis to the stories that we're going to be looking through this morning. It promises to be an interesting one, so all you have to do is stay tuned. Now, a lot is happening, as we all know. I don't know how to say it, but I think the best way to say it would be 10 is happening. Yes, there's a lot that is happening this time now, but I think it's just very, very important that even as we go out to enjoy ourselves or to, have some fun, let us please also, try to look out for one another, try to look out for your neighbor, try to, whatever it is that is within your capacity or within your power or within your strength, please try to, just try to be kind to that neighbor of yours or that colleague of yours. Just put a smile on someone's face. You never can tell. Kindness is also an investment one way or the other. Okay, so as we look through the papers this morning, we'll take a very short break now. When we come back, we'll be connecting with our analyst via the phone line. Said Fuhad is on standby to give analysis to the stories that we'll be looking through this morning. This is Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll be right back.
Knowledge is power. Information is key. And that is why we aim to unlock the doors of opinion, unveiling the stories that need to be told. Join Omobola Sandra and Sage Babalola on the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Welcome to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
On all our social media platforms, on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM, on Twitter at Mainland FM. We are the sound of Lagos.
knowledge is power. Information is key. And that is why we aim to unlock the doors of opinion, unveiling the stories that need to be told. Join Omobola Sandra and Sage Babalola on the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning.
Thank you for standing by. Sincere apologies for that very long break. We're trying to connect with Said Fuad, but we have our stories here with us. We have our papers, The Punch, The Guardian, and Vanguard newspaper. Those are the papers we have that we're going to be working with this morning. My name is Omobola Sandra, and let's kick things off with The Punch newspaper. The major headline: Forex, MTN, Glo, others seek NCC nod for tariff hike. We have riders here. Telcos risk shutdown without tariff increase to offset rising cost, says Alton and Atcon. We also have operators await NCC approval as regulator reviews tariff bands and operating costs. Good morning, Fuad. Thank God it's Friday. How are you doing?
Good morning. Yes, I'm good. Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing? I'm
well, thank you very much. All right, so the telcos are looking at a review of their tariff hike due to operational cost. That's what we have here on as the major headline on the front page of the Punch. And well, I think it's also safe to say that the telco is, one of the companies, or the telco has not been able to increase tariff hike in a very, very long while, Fuad, and majorly due to regulatory issues or regulatory policies or whatnot. But now despite the fact that even in the past years there have been some economic challenges that a lot of companies have been facing, but even with that they were still not able to push a review of their tariff. But now they are pushing for a review of their tariff. They want to go even up. So what do you think? I mean, we should think on behalf of the operators, the telco operators as well, but then for Nigerians as well, who just yesterday for MultiChoice also was it yesterday or the day before yesterday, MultiChoice also the day before yesterday, MultiChoice also came forward with an upward review of their prices, and now the telcos. So I mean, is this just like we can't get any breathing space at this time now?
Well, if you look at the story, the telcos have given their reasons for wanting to increase tariffs, and it's difficult really to fault those reasons, Sandra. Very difficult. If we have a power minister who has also given several reasons for an astronomical rise in the tariff for electricity, then I think the telcos have justifiable reasons. They talked about the forex crisis. They talked about energy costs and all of that, which is the reality of Nigerians at this time. So when I read stories like this, Sandra, the first thing that comes to mind is, how would ordinary Nigerians survive this period? How would ordinary Nigerians? Because the gas boat is coming from everywhere, and everybody, every sector, every institution, every business has almost like a justifiable reason to begin to increase prices, increase tariffs. And on the other hand, you also have government in a crazy aggressive revenue drive, even though a lot of those revenues will amount to nothing at the end of the day because of our corruption index. So you ask yourself, how does the ordinary Nigerian survive this period? Look, already, let me tell you, Sandra, the cost of buying data, making phone calls is killing. In fact, sometimes I don't want to imagine how much some of us spend every month. And whether we like it or not, data is life. You want to always communicate, just like transportation, Sandra. You want to move around. You are not, when you are very, active and you are mobile, you want to move around, you want to communicate and all of that. So These are very important industries to order in Nigeria. But the cost, I talked about public transportation yesterday, Sandra, but people that use public bus, I'm sure they know what they go through now to fund themselves from work, and to different places. Somebody was telling me, Sandra, that from Ojodu Berger to Antoni, on a good day, maybe about 2 years ago, about a year plus ago, that would cost you to and fro maybe around 1,000 naira for you to do that journey, just around 1,000 naira. Today, you must have like 3,500, almost 4,000 naira to that short distance.
Correct.
From Ojota to Antoni, you say it's 300 naira. That should not cost you more than 50 naira. And then to Ojota to Elegba would be maybe around 600 naira.
What?
That ordinarily should not be more than 100 naira.
People are squatting in their offices. on the island. They now sleep in the offices, in their cars. People are sleeping in their cars, on the island now, just to reduce.
And then for people that use their private vehicles, Sandra, if you know what it costs to fuel your vehicle now, if you know what people are going through, because it's killing. And then now you have the government still trying to justify the need to increase electricity tariff, even though the service is not available. I'm sorry.
Hello?
For me to criticize or ask too much questions. Can you hear me? Hello?
Now I'm with you. Yes. Please go on.
It will be difficult for me to begin to question the justification for telco tariff increase, because of, if you read the story, they gave their main reasons, vital reasons and justification for them to want to increase this tariff. But the question is, Sandra, how would ordinary Nigerians now function and meet all of this crisis? Because this was a crisis that came as a result of the same policies we'll be talking about, that the government initiated without thinking it through and thinking about the consequences. The subsidy is gone. We are floating the naira and the dollar. Those two policies, we kept saying it. You don't jump into the river without knowing the depth.
And as it is now, Fuad, I'm sure you know that the dollar is back on the rise. The dollar is now he's not looking at naira. That's what were you trying to do last week? All right, but anyways, the chairman,
because we were not doing, it was not, whatever effort was just an intervention that had to happen. It was not as if it was anything that was coming from a natural arrangement. You understand?
Yeah.
But Sandra, in the midst of this crisis, this excruciating poverty, increase in tariffs, increase in taxes, increase in this and that for ordinary Nigerians, you know what our government is now doing? They are sharing rice and beans.
We had that conversation yesterday on Open Forum. The fact that they're turning us to a palliative dependent nation where any small inconvenience, don't worry, we'll give you food. And
so, in this one we are reading now, Sandra, what we pay rice and beans down to?
Maybe they'll give us free credit.
It should be a form of palliative now. Free data.
But for how long will they give us free?
That's what we are saying, that this government of tokenism is just complete because it's nonsense. It's not what
the chairman association of
environment.
The chairman association of licensed telco operators of Nigeria, Gbenga Adebayo, said that cost-reflective tariff was non-negotiable. He said, and I quote, "We have seen the impact of price control in other segments of the economy, like power. If providers cannot operate sustainable business models, then they'll stop investing. When that happens, the existing infrastructure starts to crumble. For power, a consumer can choose to take ownership of the solution by buying a generator or a solar panel. For fuel, the government can step in as a provider of the last resort, manage a subsidy regime that mitigates the impact. Those options are not available in the telco sector. There is no self-help. There's no self-help solution." That's what he's saying. So the industry is faced with significant increase in operational costs occasioned by scarcity of foreign exchange, network expansion and upgrades, which has also affected bottom line of operators and all. It's written here.
And energy cost too, Sandra.
And energy cost. Thank you. So what we have here now is President of Telco Companies of Nigeria, Tony Izuagbe, explained that telcos are running at a loss and may not survive this year should tariff remain the same. And he wonder if urgent action is not taken, many telco operators may be forced to shut down operations which will leave millions of Nigerians without access to vital communication services, emphasizing that the current tariff regime is insufficient to cover the cost of providing services. So they are urging regulatory bodies to address the industry challenges and support operators in maintaining the quality of service. Fuad, but among all these giant telcos, we have a homegrown one. Do we not have expectations from that one?
Which homegrown? He's not going to be operating within we global standard. I don't know about this. He's going to be. He's operating in the same environment now.
In the same market.
And when we say telcos, we are not. It's the same market, the same reality, the same story. A lot of them, run generators 24 hours. Where they have their facilities and all of that. They run it. We have some of them around.
There's one in front of us here now.
And you see that every time they keep coming to drop diesel and they are running generators 24/7. That's also a cost. And then there's the forest issue which you come into maintenance facilities and all of those kinds of things. And then the need for them to expand. There's also the issue of insecurity. They are also suffering from vandalism. People also attack their facilities, destroy their facilities and steal from them. So it's all modeled up, standard. It's all modeled up. And this same tariff that these guys are saying is insufficient to run their business. It's already making Nigerians sweat. If they are saying tariff is not cost effective, the reality is that Nigerians are already sweating because people complain. I know how much I spend, for example, on data standard. It's killing. Ask other Nigerians, because people do more data now because of course you can make WhatsApp and all of that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But they tell you that look, you do, some of them, for example, you do maybe 5,000 for 20 gig data, blah blah blah, which is supposed to take you for 30 days.
For 30
standard
days.
After 1 week, it's done.
Especially, yes, thank you. Especially for someone like you now, for you're a media personnel, you watch a lot of videos. You read
and I have to be
exactly.
I have to keep keeping up with events and stories to update myself. So I have to be online 24/7. I can't switch off my data. Even when I'm switching, the data is on because things happen very fast and you have to keep up.
We know, Fuad. We know your data is always on. We know you don't. We know you don't sleep. All right, but then, so
that's just the reality of Nigerians.
Do you think NCC may have to, bow to this pressure now from the telcos as regards a tariff hike?
What would they do? Do we want to see a collapse of the sector? Okay, because again, whether we like it or not, you know why we cannot really begin to question the telco? Because again, we are seeing the service. We are using the service. It's unlike the power sector that is talking about increasing cost-effective tariff, whereas the service is not available. But to a large extent, or relatively, to a great extent, you can see that the telcos are still providing the service. So when they talk about tariff increase, you really don't want to begin to question it. But how would Nigerians cope? That's my thing. When I see stories like this dropping almost on a daily basis, my mind, skips and say, oh, what would happen to other Nigerians? Because whether we like it or not, small businesses also try on communication, on some of these things.
Thank you very much.
A collapse of the telecom sector, we are going to run into serious trouble if that sector collapses.
The stories on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. Forex crisis, MTN, Glo, others seek NCC nod for tariff hike. And speaking of Forex, or still on Forex, still on the front page of the Punch, I also have here, Dangote, Forex shortage delays crude supply.
You see the problem.
And that's on page 30 of the Punch newspaper.
Sandra, I think it's that story that has a very beautiful fourth paragraph. No, I think the report is in the Guardian. We are the Guardian of the Punch. We have this particular story has one fourth paragraph, the lead paragraph, that captures everything about this story. But if it is not this one, I think it should be in the Guardian.
Okay.
But you can have
let's see if it is this one. So the Punch reports that Chinese state energy major PetroChina has been waiting to unload a cargo of United States crude at Nigeria's giant new refinery for nearly a month due to payment issues, according to 4 trading sources and shipping data. So the impasse highlights difficulties the Dangote refinery is facing in its aim to be the biggest refinery on the continent and in Europe when it reaches full capacity this year. So PetroChina is trying to unload cargo of United States crude at Nigeria's Dangote refinery.
What does that story tell you, sir? the guy is bringing crude from abroad.
That's it too. That's where we are.
You see that that's where we are.
So we don't.
Can you now see that that's exactly where we are?
Are we no longer?
Wait now. You know the story in the past was that we have crude here. We take it out to refine because we don't have functional refinery. Now we are now getting to the level where we now have functional refinery, but we now have to go and bring in crude to refine locally. You see that we have a problem. Can you actually see that we have a problem, Sandra? That initially the story was that, as an oil producing nation, we don't have functional refineries locally, so we take crude out to refine and bring in refined products. Now we've been able to at least successfully help a private business owner build his own refinery, and then we can say, well, we have a functional refinery locally. But now we are bringing in crude. And in bringing that crude now, the company has got it in several challenges. There are payment issues and all of those kind of things, delaying the delivery of that crude. So what does it tell you, Sandra?
2 million barrels.
It's in the Guardian newspaper. Yeah.
2 million barrels.
Yeah.
Of this time. In the Guardian.
Yeah, okay. Let's just move on with it. But this is the story, Sandra. If Dangote refinery is now looking into importing crude, then what happens to the issue of pricing, the opportunities we have been looking at? Because again, the advantage of being an oil producing nation is that, well, the crude is available locally. And so if you have functional refinery to make it all easy for you, you can even work by modulating prices and all of that. But if you now have to use your self-forex to still go out there to purchase crude to refine locally, there's a problem. So it now means that, look, as we are making so much effort, Sandra, to get functional refineries in the country, we have a problem with crude supply. We are not able to produce enough locally when it comes to crude. 2 million barrels ordinarily Dangote. Sandra, if Dangote refinery is working to full capacity at 650,000 barrels, it means that should take you like 4,000 just 4 days. Maximum, like 4 days.
What?
Yeah.
You know the interesting part is that PetroChina still has another 2 million barrels that is on its way to Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes, it's on its way to Nigeria as we speak. So, with these difficult payment issues now, that means you just have about 4 million barrels just sitting there waiting for payment so they can move on. But I think I've found your story in the Guardian newspaper.
Okay.
I think I have. So let me just see if it is what you're trying to look for. What we have in the on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper, Nigeria is still importing about 100% of the needed 50 million liters of PMS 5 months after the technical completion of the Port Harcourt refinery. And technical completion, quote and unquote now, and 1 year after the commissioning of Dangote refinery. The development is already fueling petrol queues nationwide, with many stations already out of stock. And that's what we have. So, as we all know, Naira declined yesterday. So with the decline of the Naira, this represents a decrease of about 8%. That's all 120 Naira% that was posted earlier in the morning. That's same yesterday. So with aside from the fact that we have some dollar problem, it's not available. Aside from that, there's also the volatility of the exchange rate as well. So I don't know if that's what you are trying to look out for, but I also have here for almost a month a cargo from PetroChina trying to deliver US crude to Dangote refinery has been hovering on Nigerian waters following payment issues. Although Nigeria produces one of the lightest and environment-friendly crude oil in the world, it is gathered that Dangote refinery will import West Texas Intermediate (WTI) of about 7 million barrels between March and this month. So basically, I think just layman terms now basically is that Dangote refinery, private refinery, is having issues accessing crude. Well, he has been importing for
is now importing crude.
He has been importing for since last year when he was struggling to get 6 million in 4 months from Nigeria, so he had to go outside the country. And he has moved on because he's a businessman.
So the story of importing crude into the country, what does it tell you, Sandra? Are we close to solving the problem?
So even if Port Harcourt refinery is up and running, we'll still have the same problem.
Where will the crude come from? That's the issue. That's it. You're getting it. Where will the crude come from? And then, of course, the Warri refinery will also come up this year. The Kaduna refinery will also come up this year. There's also, yes, I'm with you.
As Port Harcourt refinery come up, because you keep saying will come up. As Port Harcourt refinery come up.
No, they say no. I don't think yesterday they are beginning to suspect some stories. Some stories are beginning to appear in the papers. I think those stories are fairly planted, to excite Nigerians and begin to show that things are happening, really, where in reality nothing is happening. You already see stories like, marketers are already gearing up to load from the Port Harcourt refinery. They are already talking about pricing. Whereas in reality, these refineries are not even getting crude supply that they should get. And that should be the story. That should be the story. Even the so-called Port Harcourt refinery that we're talking about, what exactly, because again, we have two refineries that are without refineries. You have the old and the new. Which one is working as we speak? There's also a story in the paper today, Standard, that talked about African Petroleum signing a non-contract with NPC to set up a refinery at the Port Harcourt refinery to take it to about 300 barrels or 200 barrels of crude oil per day refining capacity. We can begin to do all of these things, but again, as we are doing that, we need to focus on how to ensure food supply to those facilities. If we are still doing 1.2 million barrels, 1.3 million barrels per day standard, it means we are not going to be able to feed the refinery with crude oil. So if we are not going to be importing, what problem have we then solved if we can't produce food to feed the refinery? What problem have we solved? So it means that the same story will now start, and then before you know it, the dollar issue will now come in again, because Dangote will tell you I'm bringing this food from abroad, it's a dollar factor, the forex crisis, blah blah blah. But we are not still ready to solve the problem. We're just catching the topic.
All right, thank you very much. The queues are back actually in Abuja. There are 4 queues already experienced in Abuja and some parts of Lagos as well. But then, as the naira dips at 1,450 naira, black market sellers are now selling fuel at about 1,000 naira per litre in Abuja, Kaduna, and other places. 4 queues, distribution challenges linger as NNPC assures of product supply. 2 million barrel cargo struggles to deliver US crude to Dangote refinery. NNPC Africa refinery sign co-location deal to boost refining capacity. All right, okay. So the story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper and is also on page 30. Do I have that? Oh no. Yes, on page 30 as well of the Punch newspaper, because I also have here still on that page 30, although not on the front page, but on page 30, NNPC blames logistics for worsening fuel.
What logistics?
That's what they're saying.
What was the logistics?
Movement.
Well, thank God that this time we didn't think panic buying.
Say logistics.
Now this one is logistics, David. What was the logistics?
All right, so the story is on page 30.
Lack of capacity, inefficiency.
I think I'll move on just like that with the Punch newspaper. That's about that. Forex shortage delays crude supplies. So Dangote, that's on page 30 of the Punch newspaper. On politics, Akeredolu's ex-deputy Ajayi wins Ondo PDP ticket. That's on page 36 of the Punch. We also have here, just above the masthead of the Punch, dollar demand pushes naira to 1,420 naira per dollar. So it's going back up. It's going back up, and that's the question we ask. That's what we are discussing on Monday. I think sustainability of whatever it is that the CBN is doing. I still don't know what it is, but Fuad insists that I know. But
you saw it in the papers now, or you are pretending not to know.
I still don't know what it is.
It was there in the papers now. Even the CBN themselves announced it, that they are bringing money, they are bringing dollars, creating that liquidity to fight. It's what they've been doing now. They've been bringing in dollars now to wrestle the naira. To wrestle the dollar and take the naira from it being held down. That's what they are doing, creating artificial liquidity, not a natural liquidity in the forex market. And until we have that natural inflow, we are just going to be trying to, what we are doing basically is defending the naira with forex. As simple as that. But it's not sustainable. So we are going to be having this up and down, this cat and mouse race between the naira and the dollar for a a long time until we are ready to do the hard work. But unfortunately, we can't do the hard work because what we do is to mount the hard work, but in reality, we are not even committed to it. How can you even be committed to it when you have somebody paying in advance, almost $750,000 in advance, for a child that has not even got it? And it's not just a Kogi matter, it's widespread, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Have you not been told that most times when FAC allocation is shared, dollar begins to have this beating, naira begins to have this beating? Why is it that there's always this problem when FAC allocation is shared and then suddenly there's a problem with dollars? Who are the guys mopping up the dollars?
The story is on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. Also have here on the front page of the Punch, Senate panel seeks extension of 30 trillion naira loans probe, and that's on page 30, and that's what we're taking off the front page of the Punch. You're listening to Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. It's 13 minutes past 8, and we're still going through the major stories trending on the front page of our papers. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. I haven't mentioned that, so you can join the conversation there as well at Mainland 98.3 FM on both platforms. Now, moving on to the Guardian newspaper, the major headline: complicit negligence. How weak power lines, vandalism worsen electrocution incidents. And so that is what we have as the major headline on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, and the story is on pages 4 and 5. Moving on to that, what we have is Janus faced electricity distribution companies, their failure to year in and year out. Electricity related disasters which could have been avoided, including those that are rarely heard about in climes with strict safety regulations, are happening in Nigeria. In a bid to power their homes, businesses and sundry concerns, Nigerians are falling victim to a system that is plagued with lopsided regulation and lax enforcement. These accidents that are ravaging the power industry range from fire outbreaks, electrocution, and the effect of these tragedies are more than just numbers. They include broken dreams and irreplaceable losses. And indeed, behind every data lies a human story where a child, his parents or relatives or even friends have their lives abruptly cut short due to inherent failings of a broken system. So all those people that tie wires together, or they've taken light, put me on the second line, and then somebody comes in and then put you on the second line,
or take light from the third street, run into different compound.
Take light from the third
street, kind of connection.
Exactly. that's basically it. And so you see people getting electrocuted, you see people being flung away from the wires and all of that. So that's
apart from even those illegal connections, even failing facilities too. We've seen situations where cables electrocute children, even people, shops, and also you can add
what happened in Ota recently with the rains, where the poles
just imagine
fell.
All came down.
Those people, they said that maybe they've given up on having light at all ever again. I don't know if you watched some of the interviews.
I think the traditional ruler of that area has even stepped in. And I think what has happened is that the distribution company of that area has now said they are going to work very fast to ensure power is restored to that entire. That was the Songwater area. I think if they are going to be waiting on the distribution company to do it alone, it will take maybe the next 10 years.
With every incident, and incorporating this into the process is not a problem. The focus is integrating safety comprehensively, achievable through collaboration with customers and partners within different areas. That's what we're looking at now as regards weak regulations, zero penalties, crafty discos, safety and investment in critical infrastructure as regards power. We also have here the Nigeria Electricity Management Services Agency, NEMSA, plays a crucial role in ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical installations across.
Too many agencies doing nothing, Sandra. Too many agencies. I don't know there's a NEMSA.
I'm just hearing this over.
Yeah, this is the first time I heard this NEMSA.
I didn't know there's a NEMSA.
The only one we hear of is NET. I think there's a NEMSA somewhere.
There's a NEMSA. That's what we have here.
What has happened to Rosanya report? The desire to implement.
Yeah.
They see hanging in there. We are still tossing it around.
According to what is in this report, one of the primary responsibilities of NEMSA, yes, according to the 2023 Electricity Act, is to carry out electrical inspection, enforce statutory technical electrical standards and regulation, collaborate with Standards Organization of Nigeria and other relevant government agencies to ensure that all major electrical materials and equipment that are used in the country are of the right quality and standards. I didn't know we had that. So we have that. And
then we have transformers blowing up every now and then. Go to different species on transformers.
It's gone.
You see, you see cable lines all looking old and worn out. And then there's a mental somewhere.
So looking at all of this, and also looking at vandalization and energy theft as enablers to these problems that we are having as regards power, because aside from lack of power, there's also some of this infrastructure that have been put in place. Have they been put in place rightly? You see some transformers placed in some locations where children freely go there to go and
it's not even covered.
It's not
the
covered.
Old things are there. You just there open. Sometimes you even see the light the light is showing as if it wants to burn up, and it's just there open, just open field. You see the transformers there, no guard, no safety, no nothing. I don't know.
Well,
that's our story.
All of the discos, have their own number of casualties. But you can get all of the details on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. It's also the major headline on the front page of the Guardian. All right, moving on now. Still on the front page of the Guardian, we also have here Suleja jailbreak. Federal government to publish names of 105 fleeing inmates. Rearrest 14. Also from that story, there's the report that they're going to move the jail elsewhere to another place. So apparently, Fuad, the jail was supposed to take 250 people, and before the jailbreak, they were about 400 and something. Over.
What led to the jailbreak standard? Just a rainstorm and broke down the fence.
It broke down the fence.
A rainstorm.
So that's another thing. Infrastructure as well. That's another thing.
In our prison. If a rainstorm can break down the entire thing, and that's supposed to be a prison where hardened criminals and people are kept, and now we have 1 or something out there now on the loose. I think 14 has been arrested.
Yes.
Yes.
The
over 400 are left with jail prison. How many of them have we been able to arrest?
14 out of 119. 14 have been
14. So we still have 100 out there.
That's what we have.
And
here.
they want now if they move the prison now, which correctional facility can take them? Because a lot of our correctional facilities are over. You understand? It's congested. You have if a prison is supposed to take 200 and you have 400, just imagine. And that's the story of almost all our correctional facilities. Yes.
The truth is, just as you have rightly highlighted, the conditions of our correctional facilities, of our detention centers, is something that definitely should be looked into. Imagine a facility that was supposed to house 250 people housing 499 apologies, 499. That was before the jailbreak. So we have gross overcrowding, we have inadequate medical care, food and water shortages. These are just some of the challenges that all of these people are going through. So,
but Sandra, let me ask you a question. What are we doing properly in the country? Let's just
you've asked this question. Someone has asked the question, what are we benefiting at all?
No, before you even benefit, you do it well.
Okay.
Tell me one thing that we will say, as a country we are doing it well.
A little sharing.
Corruption.
Even palliative sharing. Even palliative sharing.
Even palliative sharing, you are not even this way.
They are not doing it well. That's true. Okay.
But is it that corruption? We balance. It's corruption. That's that one. And that's the reason why nothing gets done. Even to keep people in prison and create that environment, if you change them, you didn't change the system. It was normally Nigerian prison service. They didn't know it has to be Nigerian correctional service. Now, what do you correct with that kind of environment? And I'm sure if you go into the conditions of our correctional facilities, as they want it to be called. Ask questions from inmates, even from some of the prison wardens. The story is going to be a very sad one. I'm sure the story will be the story of corruption, all manner of malpractices, all manner of staff practices going on in those facilities. And so what are you correcting? So I ask myself the question, what exactly, just one that we can say, oh, as a nation, we are doing well. Water, zero. Electricity, zero. Infrastructure, zero. Aviation has serious problems. The stories are talking about serious issues in the aviation sector. Professor Tʀᴇɪᴅs was on TV yesterday, lamenting seriously about the level of corruption in the aviation sector. Just almost how many days ago, now Dana Air had skidded off the runway and almost killed people. And there are also stories that I think somebody even made a tweet talking about one of the airlines now that they were about to take off before the engineer, I think they said it's Jᴏ. I said, God save their soul, because they're already ready to take off before somebody bangs on the door of the aircraft. And then the engineer came in and said, oh, the landing gear of the aircraft is bad, you cannot take off. Stand there. That's the aviation sector. It's in complete crisis as it is. I have a boss. I used to have a boss, Sandra. He does not take a local flight. He will drive himself from Abuja to Lagos. But that cannot even be done again because of insecurity. And look at what Professor Tʀᴇɪᴅs was saying about the aviation sector yesterday. He talked about the corruption in the system, and that look, regulatory officials are so busy collecting money, manipulating the process, that it's so bad that they allow Nigerians to fly those aircraft, but tell their own family members, don't fly that aircraft, so it's not safe. And that's the story of Nigeria. And so when we say, if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill Nigeria, that's exactly what we are saying. The consequences of widespread corruption is unimaginable. It touches everywhere.
Thank you very much,
Nigeria.
Said Fuad, because at this point now, yes, thank you very much, Said Fuad. Just as you mentioned earlier, what exactly are our funds being used for, especially when we have walls that are so old that a heavy rain pour could actually bring it down? That's what happened at the Suleja Correctional Center. About 105 inmates are still at large. The manhunt is presently ongoing. They're trying to do everything they can. But then looking deeper into that, we also have the fact that even inside prison, there is the living conditions of the inmates is also another thing that should be looked into, aside from the infrastructure, because reports
you remember when there was the Senate probe where they said that I think we were feeding dogs with over 750 and maybe some of them 700 naira per day.
Yes, that's what
I think there was that regulation.
Above what? Do you know that reports coming in say that some inmates actually pay to have their meals?
That's what I'm saying, the corruption. If you go deep into if you investigate what could be going on in those services, in those facilities, and you weep for this country. I know why I said that now. If you decide to dig into it and know the sharp practices, the corruption that will be going on in those facilities, you will actually weep for the country. And like Joseph Olorunso said, Sandra, the reason why nothing gets done is that we have people in government, we don't actually have government. What we have is that we have people in government. But when it comes to what governance is all about, it is safe to conclude that we have no government in Nigeria.
Well, the conditions of the nation's prison and detention center is a deplorable one, very unfortunate, and definitely something that should be looked into, because whether we like it or not, they are still humans, and humanity in us shouldn't erode just because when we...
And you say it's a correctional center, you want to correct and reform them to become useful for the society. How do you correct everybody in Abuja facilities?
Not even good. You go in there a healthy person, you come out with one disease or the other. That's very, very unfortunate.
Or you go in there, you go in there a minor criminal, you come out as a major criminal, a mega criminal.
A hardened criminal.
Hardened mega criminal.
Well, the story is on page 6, still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Very quickly, we also have here oil theft. Naval chief extends Operation Delta Sanity by 90 days. That's on page 28. Court adjourns Emefiele's trial to June 24 as U.S. indicts government. That's on page 3. We also have here, you lied. Rivers government tells resigned Wike's loyalists. I don't know
Now
what
you
is
go and
going
join
on.
with Abuja, you should not disturb us with all those nonsense stories. If you like, he has resigned, you should go to Abuja and meet his master there. Let Fubara put somebody else there, Gary.
Then is happening in Rivers.
He has resigned now.
Yeah, but it's not the
Let the man go to Abuja and join his master there. Now why is he stopping people with unnecessary stories?
Okay.
If you wish you first should put his loyal person in that ministry. That's a very expensive ministry now for a governor to joke with. You put your loyalists there, you died before they stated him and he misbehaving. And they change him to a ministry to make him redundant. He complains. He should just go and meet his master in Abuja now. There's enough to do for him there. Why is he complaining?
Yeah.
I bet the governor should do what he needs to do. I bet.
All right, the story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Finally, from the Guardian, we have here Dana Air refunds passengers as NCAA announces suspension of Dana Air. That's on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. We wrap things up on trends in the papers this morning on Mainland 98.3 FM with stories from the front page of Vanguard. And the major headline on the front page of Vanguard: Labour Party PDP kick as US report says 2023 poll mirrored Nigerians' will. So riders to that, report admitted APC rigged elections, surprised over its conclusion, says Labour Party. We won't allow Nigeria become one party state. That's coming from PDP. It's welcome, but we don't need.
Those ones just keep quiet. It's just. Those ones just.
It's welcome.
It's just, you know.
But wait, hold on, Fuad. Let me just finish the riders.
Okay.
All right. It's welcome, but we don't need external validation, says APC. Say votes were not suppressed in Lagos. So yes, Fuad. Now, so all the major parties, the three major, not all now, apologies for that. The three major parties have spoken. Both will soon speak, but then the three major parties have spoken as regards, you know.
Nobody will listen to them. Yeah, it's a waste of time to listen to any party. Let's get serious. So let's go on. So apologies, baby. I know it's your dying party, but let's just get serious.
But then the US report, you know, has been generating some controversies. Very quickly, before we run out of time. And
wait, do we need the US? Wait, do we need the US to tell us the story of our elections?
But we were here now.
We were here now.
We saw it.
And so we don't need somebody to come and tell us what actually happened. We saw it, we witnessed it. And we know the shenanigans that happened. And so in conclusion for me, Sandra, electoral reform. If we don't reform the electoral process, and then also get people to commit to fixing the problem with the electoral process, 2027 again will be the same story. The same story of complaints, malpractices, and all manner of things we saw in the last election. This is the time to reform the electoral process, and we have a document that we can work with, at least to start with.
All right.
That's the Justice Momodu Waste report. It's there for us to look into and reform the entire electoral process.
All right, to wrap things up this morning on Trends in the Papers, I'll just run through. Sports Minister won't force a coach on the NFFC's ministry. That's still on front page of Vanguard. We also still have here, still on Vanguard newspaper, Edo Guba, PDP to unveil 200-man campaign council. Okay, I'm done. That's all for Trends in the Papers this morning. We'll take a short break and then we'll move on to Mainland Focus by 8:40 when we come back from this break. Stay with us. This is Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
When the airwaves in your market become more and more crowded, it's time to break it open and really stand out. It's here.
Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
What takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with non-sizzling cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans?
It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of Knorr cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables.